Oh my god, today we're putting up the fence and I'm really excited. Oh my god, I've been waiting for this because we have asparagus that needs to get in the ground and we have strawberries that need to get in the ground like pronto. So we need to get this fence done. So let's do it. Oh wow, it looks like, so I just got here, it looks like my parents got some done already. All right, some of the deer fence here. This is awesome. So it goes deer fence and then you come down and this is the rabbit fence. And then we're gonna do a cloth that's like, actually it's not cloth, it's metal here. And then we're gonna put rocks on top. And remember, we're getting rid of the quack grass, which actually this is quack grass right here, because that stuff does not go away. It doesn't ever go away, it always comes back. So getting rid of that, that's why we have the ditch. And then all the little critters, we don't want them digging underneath and coming up. And the deer, we don't want them jumping over. Just a regular staple gun?
Yep.
How many are you doing on there? Like 2? 1, and then skipping a square and then doing another? Oh no, you're doing them right next to each other on the squares.
Yeah. Yep. So what we got to do once I get
okay, Mama?
staples in here,
yeah,
is then we got to roll it out.
Okay. Just only at the top, or are you gonna do random ones down the bottom?
We're not doing any at the bottom yet. We have to roll the whole thing out, because if we don't, whoops. We got a few more. If we don't, then we're going to get crooked down there.
Okay.
So
now we unroll?
Yep, we're going to have to unroll it.
Got
and
it, I don't know where you want to go. You smell my armpit?
So preferably unroll it up above. Yeah, up on the hump. Because if you go down in, we're going to...
Stuck on itself?
Here.
Wait, Kristen. Just to keep it from...
Well, that's why I thought you wanted to do some down the...
Yeah, just to keep it from following us along the trail.
You did the weeding in the other bed?
I did.
Nice. I know, it's so tiny, huh?
Yeah. Very few big spots. Or, plants.
Ones that are big enough to
pick
out.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What's wrong?
You play it.
Okay, I can try it.
What's wrong? The pain in the ass.
Do you have an electric one?
Nope.
Oh.
I have a pneumatic one, but I don't have power out here. My air compressor.
I have one at home. I didn't know we were gonna. I could have brought it.
What's it run off of?
Hand power.
What this is?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I could have done more and then you. Like, we could have been going at the same time, faster.
Do you want those twist ties for?
Yep, I got to do all that on down the line. Where it's going to be key.
Do you want the wide or the?
I hope this works like this. Because we've been stretching it and then doing that. But this is such a long run. I don't know how you can stretch a long run.
Well, what about if we do this? I got an idea. So you do some, you know, along the way, and then we come back and we stretch it with each one that we've already done. So it's like it's up, and then we just pull as we go. And we can take that as the off that we already did. We can snip them. They're real easily to be snipped. And then tighten it if we have to. Then it's like, that's not temporary. I mean, it's temporary. It's not permanent.
So where are you going to tighten it at?
Well, like I said, you go all the way with the temporary zip ties. And then you come back and you make the post one, like you finish that, right? And then you come back and you straighten each one along the way, and you take zip ties out if you need to pull it more.
Sure, to straighten the post. Yep.
So then if it's straight at the post after we put it all up with temporary zip ties, then we can come back and take the zip ties out and put permanent ones in and pull it more all the way. Does that make sense?
So you're saying do it a section at a time?
Well, no.
If we have to, we may not have to.
Let's do every other with a zip tie.
Okay.
And then
And then come back to the post.
little one. I'm gonna do one little one in between. Because that'll slide. The one on the wire in between. It just keeps it up there so that we don't have a saggy. Because if I have saggies, then it's not going to stretch. Not like we want. This is already saggy. And I'll leave it a little bit of space.
So we
I
can.
don't even need to leave a little space on this one. Because it's just going to slide on that wire. We just want to make sure that this one's connected to the wire, not that one, because if that was to break, then if this one breaks, at least I can tie it somewhere else.
Sounds good. Now we gotta tighten the fence. Rolled it out. Now we gotta tighten it. Put staples and zip ties. But I thought you were saying something else down there.
Oh, it was sagging a little bit in the middle, but it looks fine.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay.
You're kind of
So we're out here in Zone 5A in Minnesota, growing a garden. This is year number 3. Why? Because we're taking it easy. We're making sure that we want to pay attention to the slope and the sun. My parents did that the first year. This is their space and I'm helping them with it. My name is Kristen and I run Tutti Frutti's farm, and it is on hiatus from commercial production while I look for land, and now I'm helping my parents, and that's great too, grow organic, regenerative, and permaculture practices. And I have been doing this since 2011-ish, 12. You lose track of the years. But started in community gardens, started actually growing on my balcony outside my apartment, and then a community garden, and then from there leasing land and farming. And now we are putting up the deer fence. Our goal is to get in by June 15th, and we have black tarps covering cover crop that we killed off. The boxes, I would never use boxes. I don't like them because they cut off the microbial health and the fungal material from the rest of the area. But they come in handy when you want to acidify soil for blueberries. So that's gonna go one area. And then asparagus, it just loves to take over, so that's going in another area. So we actually just put them on top of the soil, so everything actually, we're still using our soil. We're adding compost, and we also had winter rye coming up in there, so green manure was added, and flies love them. No, not really. And so that's why we're using the boxes. But really, I don't like boxes. They're not, you don't need them if you don't have an absolute purpose. Like, you can totally, we're growing in the ground here, right? And we're using the ground, the soil that we already have, and we're building that soil that we already have. And we did do a trench around because quackgrass, which has rhizomes that go underneath the soil, take up 80 to 90% of the nutrients that other plants need to grow. And so it is just relentless. It always comes back, always comes back. And so we dug a trench, and then we decided to extend the area and add a flower garden. So we did another trench, and that's where the fence is. So the fence is including the garden and the fruits and veggie growing area, herbs. And so we covered that with black tarps, because actually it wasn't covered with black tarps last year because it was new this year, the flower bed. So we just covered that. Last year when my parents started, they tilled the area that was the garden, and the flower area was not tilled. It was just black tarps on the grass and on the weeds to kill the weeds, and that'll be all season. But after it was tilled last year, I put black tarps on and we left them on from June into October. And so to kill all the weeds, because we don't want a lot of weeds, we're not trying to have a lot of weeds in here, so that's why we're taking our time. And we are wanting to make sure that it's a good spot, it's a good location, it's good sun, good drainage. There's not a huge slope. And the area that you see here that's open, that was cardboard put down on that area. And I did that after the black tarps were removed. So that was under black tarps last year from June to October, just like the rest of the area. But we put I seeded, broadcasted, like just threw out seeds, broadcast seeds, after I broke up the soil. And you can watch all those videos on the YouTube channel, Tutti Fruities. More detailed, everything is more detailed on that channel. And I put cardboard down here instead of doing the winter rye, because I knew it was going to take a long time to kill the winter rye. And I wanted a space to get in the garden to plant. And so I'm glad that I did that, because right there, closest to the fence, that is going to be the strawberry bed. And then here is going to be, I don't know yet what's going in there, but something in the greenhouse is going to go in there that's ready to go. And I think sweet corn's ready to go, and onions are ready to go, some other things. But then we're going to have to wait to kill the cover crop. That's going to be at least 3 weeks. And then those beds over there. I'll explain everything else in another video. Way back over in the corner, I planted garlic last year, 3 different varieties of garlic, and that's coming up well. So anyways, if you're interested in any of this, please follow along. We will be sharing every step so that other people can learn, and you can grow your own food using organic, regenerative, and permaculture practices. And thanks for watching. And yeah, any of the other videos, they're labeled with the season 1 or season 2, and then it's described also what happens in that video if you want any more detailed information, what we've done so far. All right.
So we can wrap it around that top part, and then straight here, and we'll just have to staple it flat there. And then wrap it around.
Okay.
So preferably staple it back here. Preferably.
Yeah, going almost all the way around the posts.
Yeah. 3/4 anyway.
Okay. Let's roll this sucker out.
So this is 100 foot, and it's 45 from the post to the post. Right? It's 90.
No, it should be 43. 43. Well, each bed is 43.
It's 96 all the way.
This bed is 43. The boxes are 43, but it's longer because we extended it because of the flower bed. So yeah.
So we should have enough.
Yeah.
It should be about 46 on each side.
To go around.
Around the post.
Yeah.
So remember how we're going to do it? We're going to...
Well, we gotta open it, we gotta staple it, and then we
roll it out and
roll it out and do the
and then
the ties up at the top.
Yep.
And then come back.
Yep.
And do the
Middles.
staple after we do the ties on the other side.
So we need to get each top stretched tight.
And
so
staple.
Yep. You know, what? A foot
Yeah.
from the top. And that way we'll have it tight up there so that we can tie it onto the top of each post. And then we can finish, stretch it here, stretch it there, stretch it there, stretch it there. Like that.
The shimmy.
Because I don't see, we got a little bit of an angle right here going downhill. So that means that this line, well, it's going to be pretty much like this line. See how it's not straight? Because it's going, has to go downhill.
Well, it's not off like a whole lot though or anything.
Well, this one's going downhill that way.
Sure.
So,
Sounds good. The doors. Today, it's the doors. Today, it's the door. The door is today. That means we'll have everything closed off, and you know what that means? We can plant! We can plant the strawberries. The strawberries are going right out there, furthest row back, the bed. And that does need to be weeded. So even though we had it covered with black tarps all last year, you just got to keep weeding, I guess. It definitely, I think, has helped because we would have a lot more weeds in there if we didn't cover it with black tarps last year. But anyways, the door, we get that on, and then we can plant. The rock from 316 Rock arrived. And why do we have this? Because we did a trench around the whole perimeter twice, basically. We did one before we did the flower bed, which is going to be here. So we did one here, which is the original garden area. And then we extended the garden area, right? We did another trench. Why are we doing that? Because of quackgrass. So quackgrass, this is just a little, we're going to put rock right here in the trench. Then when we take off the tarps and the original trench, we're going to put rocks in there because we don't want the quackgrass, and that's what this is right here, to grow in the garden because quackgrass has these rhizomes, and you can see sticking out right here. So it's growing underneath the soil, and it takes up 80 to 90% of the nutrients that other plants need to grow. So it's going to suck your nutrients from all your plants. So you got to get rid of it, but we're not using chemicals. And so the way to do it was a trench, because we could cover it with tarps, it would come back, and we could cover and come back, because if it's here, it's just going to come back in, right? If we had actual soil in here still. And so we're cutting off its life support is what I say, because we don't want this crap in there. It is so relentless, and it's really hard to get out because of those rhizomes. And even if you have just a tiny bit, say like just this little amount left, and you pull the weed and you think you got it, but you have this underneath the soil still, it will come right back. So, and it just needs, this has 3 prongs on it. You can see 1, 2, 3 prongs. It can go another 10 feet underground, the rhizome. So quietgrass is no bueno. So we're putting rock in the trench, and that's why we got the rock from 316 Rock, which is just down the road. And I pulled up this winter rye, and I laid it down, and it's like back. So I think I'm gonna have to put some cardboard down. What's up with that rye? But so even in the trench here, we dug this trench, and you see this is quackgrass in here that's coming back in the trench. So we really need to get that rock in. We want to eliminate any access. See this? That this quackgrass can have to the rest of the garden to prevent it from coming in. But we're going to get the door up today. So what are you doing first, Papa?
Well, hit.
Did you dig too much?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Oh.
We can lift it up.
So we got the bottom board here. So we're doing a frame on the outside.
Yep.
And then the door is going to go onto the frame.
We have to hinge
right?
the door, yep, onto the frame. So I'm going to lag screw this into the post.
Mm-hmm.
And then the door will hinge off of this because it's a flat surface for the hinges.
Yep.
And then the doors will open out. They're going to open out, not in.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Does that mean we have to dig more on the outside?
No. And
You
then
don't think so?
And then this board will come up and meet the bottom of that one. And
Okay.
that is our measurement of our door plus 1.25 inches to account for a gap at the top and a little gap at the bottom. So we want about a 1/2 inch to play with on both sides
Okay.
in case the door is not completely square.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing.
And could you do it without the bottom board or no?
We need the bottom board because I didn't want to just use the hardware cloth down there. I needed something solid so nothing would dig underneath it, although the hardware cloth will go along there once we get it up.
Even though we had the rock, could you have just used the rock in there?
Well, we need a nice level base for the door
Okay.
because we don't want anything digging underneath it.
Yeah, that's why I said, couldn't you just use the rock in the trench?
They dig the rock up.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the board.
So you want a barrier between rodents or whatever coming into the garden.
Yeah, we're not going to keep mice out, I don't think, but definitely moles. I think we'll keep moles out, rabbits out.
Rabbits, yeah.
You know.
Deer out.
Deer definitely. Hopefully raccoons. That's my biggest worry is the raccoon. Because they could climb the fence if they wanted.
If they didn't break it. They might could break it.
Well, they could chew through this, but they're going to have to go up to chew through it.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily know. They might chew through right there and then decide, oh, I can't get through because of that wire.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they're not as much of a reasoning creature as we are. So I need your help.
Yeah, sure.
I need to get a level, and so I can plumb this board on the post. The post is plumb, but just to get it exactly where we want it, so that when we put the doors up, they'll fit right in.
Yeah. Okay. These flies are annoying today.
Yeah, I got bit really hard.
Okay, let me set this up, okay? And then I can help you.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So you want to see this plum? I mean, you can see the bubble in the between the lines.
Yeah. Yep.
So what are you worried about with this?
The distance from there to there now is going to be less than 6 feet.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Because the board is in a little bit because you measured from the inside of here.
I measured the inside from there over, here over, and the bottom over.
Oh, so you did it 4 times from the top?
But the only time I plumbed the post was when I put them in. So we probably stretched the fence more that way than we did this way.
Oh, when we put the deer fence up?
Yep, and it probably pulled everything. It pulls everything.
Yeah.
So, that's what it is.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the lag screws in, this one,
Oh, okay.
and then we'll see what our distance is across and what we have to work with. And we can go ahead and put one door on and see. Well, we can put one door on anyway.
Oh, okay.
12. 24.
1224.
No, not 24. What am I thinking? 2 feet from there.
36. 1236.
I think so. And then 2 more feet. 42.
72.
72. I just don't want to put a lag bolt there because that's where the hinges are going to mount. So I'll put the lag screws in between there.
Yep.
Works. 42, 72.
12, 42, 72.
Yep. There. Okay, and the hinges have to
Be out.
Yep. Okay. There's 1, 2, 3. Now you can push it all the way. Yep. Do where it goes. So you gotta hold it.
Okay.
Little dinner.